Hi, and welcome to Lunch with Lisa. And today we're gonna pull some pork. It's Lunch with Lisa. Hey guys, today I'm gonna bring to you some pulled pork sliders. Now you don't have to use the biscuits, but if you are able to eat some more carbs, keto biscuit mix I found, it's almond flour based and it's low in carbs, so 2 grams net carbs, good for like a keto or low carb diet. And if you're in fat burn, just leave the biscuits out. We're going to use the Instant Pot to make these juicy, delicious pulled pork sliders with some coleslaw. And I can't think of an easier and faster way to get some meat in your mouth. Just takes an hour in the Instant Pot and it should be done. First, we're gonna get started making these keto biscuits. I haven't tried these before. I found them on Amazon and the link is below if you would like to purchase these as well. When you purchase from my Amazon links, it just gives me a little bit of a commission. It doesn't charge you anything extra and you help me out a whole lot being able to like continue making this content for you. So I have here a stick of butter and 2 eggs. I'm only gonna use half of the stick of butter, so 1/4 of a cup of butter. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that in half and then cut it into 1/4-inch cubes. If you have one of these, this will be real good to like cut the butter into the flour. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna put 1 1/3 cup of this mixture into our butter. Glad I read the directions because I seriously was just gonna dump the whole bag in the bowl. And it says 10 servings per container and it makes 6 3-inch biscuits. So that tells me I would have totally been screwing up. Okay, so that's 3 1/3 cup and then 1 more. Nutrail, why are you giving me a bag that only makes 10, but then you're giving me a recipe on how to make 6? So that means I'm gonna have to figure out how to make 4 from this later. Okay. Then I'm gonna take this or a fork and just cut that butter into your flour. Just mash it in there real good until it becomes grainy. I have my air fryer oven back behind me set to 375 on bake. I love my air fryer and I'm using it so much because it's small and compact and it works like just as well as my oven. And I don't have to heat up the whole kitchen. You know, make sure you scrape this off every now and then. It's gonna start looking like sand. Run your fingers through, make sure there's no really large chunks of butter. So comment down below if you think that I wear shoes when I cook in my kitchen. Do you think I'm wearing shoes right now? That's something I've always wondered about people who are in shows that you never really see the bottom half of their body because they're just standing behind a counter. Are they wearing shoes? Really, I've never actually asked myself that, but I thought about it right now. I am barefoot. I have my Instant Pot right next to me set to saute. Yes, you can saute in these guys, which I didn't know until I looked at this recipe. So we're gonna use that to brown the pork here in a minute. Actually, it's already ready to go. And I'm gonna start browning the pork because it takes a little bit to do after I get my biscuit going, and then we'll work on a coleslaw. Yum. We have the butter incorporated, and now we're gonna add 2 eggs. It actually smells really good. Interested to see how these biscuits turn out, if they actually look like the picture on the bag, because them looks like real biscuits. And I hate it when people use the real product, like not real, I should say they're not real and fake, but they use like the flour version to make us think that that's what it's gonna look like. We'll see, keto biscuit mix. What are you up to? Okay, this is pretty well mixed. Looks good. It says to take an ice cream scoop and scoop it out, but I don't have one of those ones that does that. I think I'm gonna split this into 6 because that is what this recipe says. It makes 6 biscuits. I could weigh it out too if I wanted to, but I like to eyeball things. So like halves and thirds. Okay. I'm just going to make them into a ball in my hand and stick them here on my tray and kind of pat them down in circles. These will be interesting. I hope they work. It's a little sticky. I feel like that's what a she said moment. All over my hands. Tastes very almondy. We'll see how these turn out. If these aren't good, I'm just gonna throw them out. Okay, these go in the oven for 13 to 15 minutes. Fingers crossed. Since I'm baking them in my air fryer, I'm gonna set the timer to 10 minutes because sometimes they bake a little fast because it's so small. I think it's hot. So I have my Instant Pot set to saute on high or more, and it's nice and hot. And I have here a pork loin. This recipe called for a pork tenderloin, but I found this big pork loin at the store for like way less, and it was 4 pounds. The recipe calls for 1.5 pounds. So I have avocado oil, and I'm just gonna spray this pan pretty liberally so that my pork loin doesn't stick. And then I'm going to saute this on all sides. I'm gonna start with the fat side down. For 3 minutes on each side. So that's gonna take a little bit because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 6. 6 sides. 6 times 3 is 18. So it's gonna take about 18 minutes. The biscuits will be done by then. While the pork is sauteing, we're gonna make some coleslaw with cabbage and Greek yogurt. Love some creamy, non-fat, plain Greek yogurt. It's got the tang, it's so good. And it's so versatile, you can use it on almost anything. So for the coleslaw, I'm gonna need 3 cups, or basically 1/4 of a green cabbage and 1/4 of a red cabbage. I'm gonna shred these, or you can buy it pre-shredded if you want. I'm also going to need celery salt, apple cider vinegar, Dijon mustard, and that creamy goodness, non-fat plain Greek yogurt, as well as lemon juice. So I have half a lemon here, a pinch of sweetener, and it calls for Stevia. I have this monk fruit sweetener, so we're going to use that. And that's it. I'm going to shred the cabbage. 3 minutes is up, so I'm going to flip my pork. I made this yesterday to test out the recipe. It's so good. And I have these cabbage already sliced up and cored. I took the core out. So to shred the cabbage, all you have to do is once it's cut into a quarter, all you do is just thinly slice it. And then I'm gonna dump this in a huge bowl. I have this giant red plastic bowl I've had since college. I used to wash all my dishes in it. All the biscuits were starting to look really brown, so I pulled them out. They smell delicious. Can't wait to try these, but I'm gonna let them rest and cool on this before we eat. And let's shred the red cabbage. I love multitasking when I'm cooking because it just makes things go by faster and you get everything kind of cooked. It's just learning kind of how to juggle everything and when to do what. And it comes with practice. So the more you cook, the more you kind of get into a rhythm. And a lot of recipes will tell you exact timing of like when to do things. And if they don't, it might be a bad recipe. Okay, so we have all our cabbage cut up. I'm just gonna give it a quick toss with these awesome tongs into the coleslaw. I'm actually gonna set this aside and I'm going to mix all the dressing into another bowl. I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of the plain Greek yogurt, non-fat. Time to flip the pork. Oh my God, that got me in the eyeball. I knew it wouldn't be the last time. Woo! That wasn't a steam spit, that was a fat spit. I'm gonna go check my eyeball in the mirror. She lives! Okay, it calls for 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, so I'm just gonna use 1/2 lemon. And I like to catch any of the pulp or the seed using a cute little strainer like this, which is also in my Amazon store. We need 1 tablespoon of this apple cider vinegar. I like the good stuff, shake it real good. 1 teaspoon of this Dijon mustard. Just guessing. 1/4 of a teaspoon of the celery salt. And then a pinch of this. So I'm just going to do like 1/4 of a teaspoon, maybe 1/2 a teaspoon, because it's kind of sour. I made it yesterday. So a big pinch, just to cut some of the sourness. And I'm just going to stir this all together and then mix it with the coleslaw. I'm gonna give it a taste first and see if I need to add a little bit more sweetener, because I think Stevia is a little bit sweeter than this monk fruit. It could use a little bit more. I like a sweet coleslaw. I'm gonna add in a little bit more. I mean, at 0 calories per serving, and no carbs. Just do it. I think it's time to flip the beef again. It's not beef, it's pork. Whatever. That tastes good. I'm just gonna dump it all over my coleslaw here. And then I'm going to toss it and stick it in the fridge until my pork is done. And then this will get to marry and taste delicious. And then when that pork is done, pull this out of the fridge and it's good to go. So I made a t-shirt. I made some sweatshirts. If you would like to wear some Lunch with Lisa apparel, let me know in the comments, and then I can make them available to you guys. Maybe I will send them out to my patrons, because I do have a Patreon. So if you would like to get some healthy recipes sent to you, if you'd like to watch these videos before anyone else, just head on over to my Patreon. Link is down below. Thank you guys who do support me on Patreon. A little bit helps a lot. Every little bit counts, and it helps me be able to make more content, spend more time developing recipes. It does take time and money to do all this, so I really appreciate any help that you guys do, and I will keep bringing you guys quick and easy healthy recipes and show you just how easy it is to make. Okay, I'm gonna give this a quick taste. It's better than yesterday's because I added a little bit more of that sweetener. This bowl won't actually fit in my fridge, so I'm just gonna put it into another bowl, this lovely doughing bowl. I love them. They're so bright and colorful, and the patterns are awesome. They just add a cool eclectic flair to my kitchen. Feasting with your eyeballs is important, people. I flipped my pork last time, and then I will show you how to do the rest of the pork in the Instant Pot. Okay, to the Instant Pot, now that it's browned on all four sides, I'm gonna add a can of diet root beer, but I literally could not find any diet root beer in the store except a 2-liter, so we'll just have to go with that. I need 12 ounces, basically. I mean, that's easy to do. 0 sugar. So then I want to lay my pork flat as I can get it in here. And then I'm going to pour this just on top. And then I'm going to set it to pressure cook on high. But first I have to put the lid on. I'm going to cancel what's doing right now. Then I'm going to set it to pressure cook. And I'm going to set it for 1 hour. In 1 hour, this will be a succulent, delicious piece of pork. And we're going to pull it in just one moment for you. But I'm going to have to sit here for an hour and smell this thing.
1 eternity later.
It's been an hour, and this thing is going off. And I learned my lesson pushing this down with my finger last time. So I have a long spoon, and I'm gonna step back. Yeah. This is my favorite part. Woo! Oh, it smells so good. That pork and the root beer. All right, there's a little metal thing, and when that drops completely down, you can open up your Instant Pot without it exploding in your face. Oh, this looks delicious. So I'm gonna pull this out. Look at that. It's been braising in that root beer. And then the liquid you're not gonna use, so you can just discard it. And then we're gonna shred some pork. You can use 2 forks, you can use a fork and some tongs, however you wanna do it. But this is so easy to just pull apart now. Look at that. Ooh, I bet that tastes so good. In fact, I want to taste it now. Yes. And this is a bunch of fat. I think I'm just gonna set aside. Ah, see how easy that just shreds. So once you have your pork mostly pulled, or just pulled all the way, look how good that looks. I'm gonna add just half a cup of some sugar-free barbecue sauce. That's all. Half a cup. This is the hickory flavored because I couldn't find the original. They also had mesquite. They had some sweet and spicy. I wasn't really sure how that would go over with my child. So you could choose whatever flavor barbecue sauce you want. And it's sugar-free. And I'm just gonna plop this down in here and then mix it all together. And I have a little bit more than 1.5 pounds here, so I might add just a little bit more barbecue sauce if I need to. Maybe a little salt. There's probably enough salt in the barbecue sauce. Seriously love these plates. Okay, so we have the biscuits. I'm gonna go get the coleslaw too. The coleslaw's been sitting in the fridge, getting all nice and married. We have these lovely biscuits that have all been sitting. Get a knife, cut the biscuit in half. Look at that. Not bad. Let's give it a taste. Tastes like an almond flour biscuit. That's okay. I'm gonna make a slider. So I'm gonna add a bunch of this pulled pork to my biscuit. Then I'm gonna add some coleslaw to the top. Yum. Look at that. Yum. The biscuits are kind of crumbly, so we'll see how they hold up when I bite into it. I might end up eating it all with a fork, but that looks so good. Okay. Yeah, it's crumbling. It's falling apart already. That tastes so good. Like, the biscuit really adds to it. Woo! I'm gonna eat the rest of this. Oh, this is delicious. Yeah, I really like the addition of the biscuit, making it into a slider. But you don't have to use the biscuits if you want to stay low carb. But I mean, the biscuits are pretty low carb. They're only 2 grams of carbs per biscuit. But if you want to stay lower in calories and stick to the lean and greens, or you could just have the biscuit on the side with some butter or something. All this makes a really great meal. My reward for making a video is eating. And then you can have a root beer with it. Oh, that's some of that 0-calorie root beer. And these fun plastic cups. You can find these in the link below too in my Amazon store. They're really cool. You can take them to the pool, to the beach, and it's like you're drinking out of a cocktail glass or a wine glass, but it's plastic. Thanks so much for joining me today. We had so much fun cooking this pulled pork. I hope that you make this recipe and let me know how it goes in the comments. If you have any more ideas on some quick and easy healthy meals that you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side. It's lunch with Lisa. How tight do you like your pork pulled? I wonder why they call it a pulled pork. How many times does your pork get pulled a day? Honey, I gotta go home and pull some pork. That hot meat in your mouth sounds really good. I love a good pulled pork in my mouth. Pulled pork. See, I'm pulling some pork. Get some nice juicy meat in your mouth. It's so quick and easy. I mean, this is the best thing to do for date night. Ladies, just come home, slap this all together, and in no time, you'll have some nice hot meat in your mouth. No man needed. Oh, this hurts my hand. Getting the cramp. I'm gonna switch. Okay, that feels better. You know, when you're pulling your pork, your hand cramps up.